What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the third episode of the All About How podcast from GrowingAU.com. I am your host, John Knott. You're joining us today on the third day of the 365-day podcasting experiment, where we are posting a podcast every single day for a year to answer the question, does more content equal more followers? Really excited to talk to you guys today. I'm glad you're here and listening. Look, this video, I'm jumping on a bandwagon a little bit. I didn't talk about it as soon as it all happened, but I think it's time we have finally addressed the elephant in the nation, the elephant in the world, the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic that is currently going on. I want to talk about it a little bit today. A little bit hesitant to do that, but today and tomorrow's video, we're going to be talking about COVID-19, what it means, my thoughts on the investment, and what it's doing to the economic stock market. This is all about how. Let's do it. So first of all, I do want to make it very clear that I understand that depending on where you are in the world, when you're listening to this podcast, you know, who you are, all of those things are going to greatly affect and ultimately determine the severity to which Corona or COVID-19 has affected you and those around you. And I want to say, first of all, and pass on my complete and deep condolences to anybody who is currently really suffering either directly or indirectly from the coronavirus outbreak. This is really awful. I think, in my opinion, something the world was not prepared for, even though we should have been. But all that to say, I do want to express my deepest condolences from GrowingAU.com and from myself, John Knott, that my heart is with you. I do hope you get better soon. If you are currently sick or one of your loved ones is sick, my heart goes out to you. Please get better soon. I wish you an easy and speedy recovery. So all that to say, guys, you know, if you are currently seriously affected by the coronavirus, do take care. I want to talk about a little bit today how this whole experience that we're all dealing with, and many of us dealing with a pandemic type catastrophe for the first time, how this is going to, kind of affect us, the world, what it means for us, and what it's going to mean after this. And I want to talk about something that I hear a lot of people saying of, I just want to see things go back to normal. I want things to go back to the way they were. And I agree with that. Okay. I understand that mindset, that philosophy. I really wish things would go back to the way they were. I mean, come on. Like, I really wish, things were the way they were before Corona. Like, this is not something I think any of us planned for. And it's not something we exactly plan to deal with in our 5-year goal setting plans or anything like that. And it just happens, and it's awful when it does. But I think something that we all need to be aware of is that even though we want things to go back to normal, the world is never going to be the same after this outbreak and pandemic is over. The world's not going to be the same. We're going to have a new sense of normalcy. Honestly, in every country that is affected, we're going to see significant changes. I can really only speak for the United States because that's where I live and that's where I'm experiencing it firsthand. But obviously, I've seen the reports and stuff from places like Italy and Spain and Germany and China where it's getting really bad. So the normal that we knew before is never going to be the normal that we know again. It's just, it's plain and simple. Things are going to be different. Sanitation is going to be different. I think something we're going to see is look at the amount of people now that are working from home. Why would, if we find out that 40% of the workforce has the ability to operate at full capacity from their house, why would companies pay for office spaces for that amount of the workforce? It would cut costs down. It would cut a lot of things down. It could cut down travel emissions, all this type of stuff. So I think we're going to see a large portion of the population within the next 2 years after Corona is completely, or maybe completely eradicated is not the right word, but once Corona is contained and under control, I think we can see in the next 2 years from that point, we can see a significant portion of the workforce start to work from home because they have the ability and capability to do so. And now the systems are being put in place for that large portion of the workforce to operate at full capacity from the comfort of their own home. And I think we're going to see a lot of companies begin to leverage this simply because it's going to allow them to cut down on the cost of operating offices all over the country. And if you can have your employees work from home, it's just going to make things a lot simpler for you. And maybe you do have office spaces for things to happen and, meetings and stuff like that. But even still, look at all the major apps that are coming out in 2020 for online meetings and stuff like that. So I think we're going to see a large portion of the workforce start working from home. I think it's going to be similar to the major online push that we saw, I would say, over the last 5 to 10 years of companies starting to having to exist in the online space. I think this is just going to be the next evolution in the first world workforce. We're going to just start to see a lot of people now being able to work remotely from their laptops, and I think that's something that I'm excited for. That's something I'm looking forward to in the future, seeing how the world adopts this new style of working. And I think there's a lot of positive benefits, not only environmentally, just from less travel, but, it's going to allow companies to do more. It's going to allow people possibly to live happier lives. I mean, let's be honest, we're probably going to be happier working from our living room in PJs than we would be in a stuffy suit in an office somewhere. So I am excited to see how that is adopted over time. The other thing I want to talk about, though, is how we can take these moments now when we're sheltering in place, when we're at home, when our businesses are shut down, whatever it might be. How can we leverage those to actually allow them to help us? And I think very simply, we need to realize that Corona, as awful as it is, assuming that someone or yourself is not directly infected with this virus, because I do believe that if you or a loved one are infected by this virus, that is the number one priority, is getting healthy and getting them better, or getting yourself better if it is happened to be you. But if we are just one of these individuals, and I think a lot of individuals across the country who are simply stuck at home, they can't work, they can't do anything, taking time, and maybe it's just a day, maybe it's an hour, maybe it's 10 minutes, but just taking some time for ourselves in these moments and realizing that this is an opportunity for everyone to really take a time to reflect on what's important in life. I had a buddy talking to me over the phone. We were catching up because normally we catch up in person, but we're not risking it. And we were catching up over the phone. He was talking to me, how this really makes him think about some things and how this really puts some stuff into perspective about how he wants to be spending his time and who he wants to be spending that time with. And I really think that is something we all could use right now, is that life is so busy all the time, so many distractions, all this type of stuff. Right now, those distractions, despite the reports and updated information about the virus and its spread, those distractions are limited. So it can actually allow us to take time to be with ourselves, be with our own thoughts, think about where we are in this life, where we are on our pursuit to our goals, and think about, is this the life that I want to be living? Is this the path I want to be on? Or do things look the way that I would have hoped they looked 10 years ago? What do I need to do to put myself in the right position that I've wanted to always be in life? Or am I simply in the best position and I just need to continue doing what I'm doing? I think it's going to give us all some really valuable time to sit down and be with ourselves, which I think true personal mental seclusion is something that is in rare form in 2020. And I don't think that it's something that is going to increase much over the next 10 years unless we start to really adopt this disconnected remote working culture. But anyway, that's not really what we're talking about. We're talking about, what this whole thing means for us and ways that we can use it. Because look, it's not a positive situation. There's no part of this that's positive whatsoever. And I'm not trying to make it seem as such. I'm just trying to simply show that there is always something we can do to continue to improve even when times are dark. Much like the quote from Interstellar, do not go quietly into the good night. And I think that's what it is. We're in very dark times right now, and we can sit around and be upset about that, or we can find a way to say, no, this is a bad time. There's no way getting around that, but how can I leverage this time to be better? And I think that is something that I'm definitely going to be doing here in the next couple of days, is figuring out a way to leverage that time. So I appreciate you guys listening today. It's just a short one, I am aware, but I wanted to talk about it a little bit. I wanted to be a little more serious and just take some time to be with yourself. Take some time to be with your family. Use it. We don't get a lot of time like that anymore. These times for just personal seclusion and being with ourselves, or even just being with our family and loved ones. Take it, cherish it. I appreciate you guys listening today. Go spend some time with your family. Go spend some time with yourself, whatever it is you got to do. Stay safe. Stay healthy. You got a place here at growingau.com. Take care, guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow.